Hey, it's John Foss. I'm talking with Duncan Jones and Alex Campi. We're talking about their new project, Madi, Once Upon a Time in the Future. And this is a graphic novel. It's very cool. Guys, tell us about the project.
Well, it's the biggest summer blockbuster that you didn't get a chance to see over the COVID year. It's an action story that takes place that goes right across the globe, from London to Shanghai and back again across the US. It's a lot of fun.
And how did you guys come together to put this together? What's your relationship and what's your background?
Twitter, actually. I've been writing and producing graphic novels for years. And Duncan was very interested. Duncan's always loved the form and was very interested in taking the story of Maddie and making it into a graphic novel. And he reached out on Twitter, and some of our mutual followers said, you two would work well together. And I have a directing background as well, mostly music videos. So we were often able to talk the same language in terms of visually taking Duncan's story and turning it into a graphic novel.
And this project has already made over $275,000 on Kickstarter, which is crazy for a graphic novel. How did you guys get so much excitement for this project?
Well, I'd be happy to say that actually we've made a lot more than that now. It ended up substantially over 300,000 on the Kickstarter, which is great. We continue to be doing well with it. But I think one of the big draws, other than Alex, who herself is an Eisner-nominated, comic maker, creator, is that it really is like a dirty dozen or a magnificent seven of artists. This huge team of absolute legends who've come together to make this book, and it's an incredible privilege to be able to work with these people.
Earlier in the interview, you said that this was the blockbuster film that people didn't get to see because of the pandemic. My question for you is, because I know on Mute, your film Mute, you said that that was maybe originally going to be a graphic novel, and now that Maddie is a graphic novel, is there any chance of this turning into a film in the future?
I don't know. I mean, look, I've done these three different separate stories in Moon, which was my first film, and Mute, which was a Netflix movie, and now Maddie is a graphic novel. But they all kind of exist in the same universe, even though they're independent stories. It's a world that I find fascinating, and the more I write about it and the more I work in it, the more I want to know about it. So if I do ever get the chance to do more stories in it, I would love the chance.
One thing that I've noticed that most of the projects that both of you have worked on, I know Duncan, for example, a lot of your films, and then Alex, Blade Runner, which is coming out, for example, take place in the future. What is your fascination with the future, and why is a lot of your writing based around what we may possibly see in the future?
Because writing about the future creates a slightly distancing lens. So you can write about things today, like Maddie, the titular lead character. Her main issue is that she's overburdened with debt. She works as hard as she can, multiple jobs, and never can get ahead of her obligations. So she's kind of trapped in this life that she no longer enjoys. She's exhausted, and she wants to stop owing everyone money. And I think that's something a lot of us can sympathize with, especially this year. However, putting it in the future kind of makes it more exciting. Like sometimes, like we all know what life is like right now, and sometimes we don't want to read things about right now because like we're living it. But if you put it in the future and you've got, drones and cops dressed up as kitty cats and all sorts of wild things happening in undersea railroads, suddenly it becomes kind of cool and interesting, even though it's really dealing with the same issues that we're all dealing with right now.
What's that old thing? A spoonful of sugar?
A spoonful of future.
Nice.
All right. Well, Duncan, I have a question for you, and that is regarding your dad, who is, of course, David Bowie, wrote the song Under Pressure, with Queen, and was later sampled by Vanilla Ice to create Ice Ice Baby, which has, of course, become a pop culture phenomenon for many years and is still out there, and everybody's heard the song. I'm curious, number one, do you know what your father's view on that song was? Did he appreciate the song over time and what it became? And what do you think of the song and what it is, how it began and where it is today?
Well, I can't speak for my dad, obviously. But what I would say is I think Vanilla Ice certainly popularized a whole new way of making music and of litigation.
All right. Well, guys, where can people buy Maddie Once Upon a Time in the Future?
At z2comics.com. I mean, you can just buy it from Amazon if you want to, but there are two special editions available nowhere else other than z2comics.com. So go there, z2comics.com/Madi, M-A-D-I. And if you put in code Madi TV, all one word, then you get 10% off.
All right. Well, Duncan, Alex, thank you so much for being with us. And I will say that I'm one of the fans that would love to see this graphic novel turned into a film in the future. Thank you guys so much for being with us. And everybody make sure you buy it. It's called Madi, Once Upon a Time in the Future. Thanks guys.
So much, John. Thank you.